Welcome to Lifestyles of the Strange and Exotic. Pretty soon you'll have to dig your own cemetery plot. Now this is a colossal rant. And I still can't quite fit my brain around it, but considering it's this particular town, that doesn't surprise me in the least. Now you have, if you see my info box where I have my post office, the super huge town of Wales is where, our permanent home shall be. Where I would prefer my permanent home, as it were. Well, these people can't seem to put a hole in the ground. Where to even start? My father passed away not quite a year ago in September. Suddenly, we believe of not quite a heart attack, but, his heart gave out. And, well, as everyone of his era would be, the Vietnam War era. So he was a veteran, he was in the service. And somehow, I'm not quite sure how it works, you can get a headstone. I mean, nothing fancy, it's just a, flat, square piece of granite with, carvings in it. From the government for free, basically, because you were in the service. And our grandfathers was through the same thing. And okay, so my sister was doing the paperwork and footwork for that. Okay, put in the paperwork, waited some more, finally got the stone, only to have it screwed up. They had put the wrong dates on. Fine. She tells them, you fucked it up, do it again. Fine. It's been almost a year. Actually, yeah. Not quite a month. I don't remember what precise day it was. It's September now. So, it's been about a year waiting for a headstone. Well, you couldn't put a flag on in the little fancy flag stand because you need the headstone to prove that he was a fan. So that's a whole other story. Right. And I had, gone to pick up my mail and went to, go and just sort of fiddle around in the cemetery. I actually went because the post office was closed for lunch, so I'm like, okay, I'll have time, visit Dad and Grandpa. And I just sort of thought, headstone's still not here. I wonder if Marcy has heard anything. A week later, maybe even not at that, she goes, the headstone's still not on. It's like, oh, you haven't heard anything? It wasn't on when I went whenever. It wasn't? No. Well, where is it? I don't know. She calls them. They delivered the stone all right. Sort of. I don't even know if they still do that. The newspaper people, you have a bundle of newspaper and they just sort of throw it out of the thing as they're delivering them. I'm assuming this is kind of what happened. Mother, my sister, and I go do some recon in the cemetery, looking for the headstone that they told her was delivered, only to be put on the wrong grave. Sort of. We do recon, and I walk in and I'm seeing these pieces of cardboard. Strange to find in a cemetery. I follow it to find my father's headstone. They never took it out of the box. Only reason I saw these pieces of cardboard is because it probably rained and the wind blew, and they just dropped it randomly in the cemetery and said, oh, we put it on the... No. What the holy shit? I mean, it was delivered to the town. It was the town's responsibility to put it in the cemetery. So the people that were delivering the headstone, this is of no fault of theirs. This is so only the town of Wales' fault. They just randomly dumped it. It wasn't even really on a grave. I mean, there was a stone already there. This was a plot that people have been in for God knows how long. So we're like, well, we can't trust these dumbasses, obviously, to actually put the stone on the grave. And it still had those plastic... if you get like a TV or something, there's like these plastic things that you have to cut off with like a serrated knife, practically. So my sister and I pick up the stone, waddle it maybe 20 feet, and this is your fairly hefty thing, a granite piece of stone, plopped it actually on the thing. Where it is. Fine. Okay, so she calls them. Well, we delivered the, we placed where it was supposed to be where it's supposed to be. Can you at least put the fucking hole in the ground? And yes, there will be swearing. In the ground, so at least it's done? Fine. What happened after that? I don't know if I went back or she went back. Maybe a week or so later. Still not in the ground. So she texts me, you know, what should we do? I'm like, obviously these people, and this is Wales, most of them are either drunk or stoned. No joke. I've lived there. Trust me. You know, I would rather know that it's where it's supposed to be. I mean, it's a hole in the ground. We can figure this out. I would rather do it myself, knowing it is in the ground, where it is supposed to be. So we're like, okay, let's do that then. So my sister and I, you know, she brought up the paint, so we put it where we wanted it. And again, they did not line up my father with Grandpa. So regardless of where you're looking, Dad, here's Grandpa. Dad's doing this. I'm like, a little to the left, Dad. But you can kind of account for that for, like, you know, when you put plants and stuff, which Mother's doing. Not technically a problem. So we lined up the stone, Grandpa's stone. So it's symmetrical that way. And she brought some paint, so we kind of put a, you know, painted around it, so it gave us a template where to dig. So I got the shovel, and she falls over on her ass. She drops it on my foot twice. So, and I can hear Dad chuckling. And he at least would appreciate the fact that we did something together for him, you know, so at least there was significance to it. But it's like, so we dug it up, put it in, and, you know, I wanted it a little raised because if you go to a cemetery and the stones are flat to the ground, they do sink after a while and the grass kind of wants to eat them, which is always happening to Grandpa, which I kind of find annoying. We at least had it raised up a little bit, so it's a little less likely to have that problem. So, we put our father's stone in the ground, all set, ready to go. So we kind of look around, and whoever the hell is working here is probably Haley or, you know, one of those, you know, respectable people in the town. And there's a headstone off in another section that's been there for a few months anyway. At least it's there, but it's on like a little wooden platform. That's not in the ground either. But I guess the family don't care, or they don't come because it's still there. Well, we go, and it's around like the stones that have like 2012, like within the past year, couple of years, that seem to have this issue where they just plopped it on the ground. There's another stone on another section where it's literally not even in the ground. They just plopped it right there. It's out of the box. And it's on kind of a hill, so I can kind of expect the stone to go, yeah. They never put it in the ground. It's the exact same stone that, you know, Dad's is. And it's just there. I know you're drunk, or stoned, or stupid, which is 90% of the town. Again, trust me, I've lived there most of my youth. I know these people. It's like, what the holy hell? Pretty soon we're just going to have to dig our own damn hole. I mean, and this first time I ever got stopped by a cop. And I don't have health spawn. I didn't know it was the first day of school. What the hell do I care? And, you know, I'm just, you know, going from, actually I was going to check my post office box and then go back. The way I came out, so, oh, you're going a little too fast through the school zone. I'm like, oh, sorry. She was, you know, fine, and I had no problem with her. She goes, oh, where are you going? And I told her straight out, well, I'm going to the cemetery to put my father's headstone in the ground. Exactly like that. And she just kind of went like, oh. And I expected her to kind of come and check, but I never saw her. Now, I don't know how long this old fart was here, the one that actually runs the cemetery. My sister and I are finished doing what we got to be doing. Spend maybe 20 minutes there, half an hour, I don't know. Here comes this old fart. We were actually discussing going to town hall, you know, wanting to get the flag stand and the flag that, you know, I think the Boy Scouts or something put a flag every year for different holidays, you know, to get that. Here comes this little old fart in this, like, vehicle that's no more than like a golf cart going crossways across the cemetery, not on the actual road path type thing, with the flag in his hand. We never called anybody we were going to be there that day, so I don't know if the cop said, well, how would he know that we needed a flag unless he keeps them in the vehicle somehow? It was just so freaky weird. So he came and gave us the stick with the flag, and Dad would have liked it anyways because it looks like a Walker Texas Ranger thing. Put that in there, so he's all set. So, I want to know, does anybody else out there in YouTube land have ever had this problem where you had to actually put your own stone in either your own grave or a relative's grave, or any particular problem they're in? Because do tell. Because when you think a town can't get any stupider, they strive to be so. I, for one, am not surprised. I've had to deal with the dark underbelly of this particular town. And, it's like, how fucked up can you be not to frickin' dig a hole in the ground? It took us 20 minutes tops. We kept everything in there, we took everything out, it was fine. I'm like, it's just like, and it's no point in doing a lawsuit, This is why we're ranting. Town of Wales, don't drop dead. You'll have to dig your own hole. This is why... the town of Wales is basically the wart on Massachusetts. It's sort of the town that nobody wants to acknowledge their border is up against. Seriously, I'm not joking. This is the town you go through not realizing you've gone through it. So, that is my rant horror story. Where, it's just inexcusable. You shouldn't have to do that. You should at least be able to, maybe not necessarily trust, but, I guess trust in the people running this particular place. To at least, there's gotta be like a schematic. How could you not know? And then, he's not even flat to the ground. He's got like a mound. So I don't know if that's what they're doing nowadays. Because there's like another, again, like a double mound where there's like two people there. So they're not like flat to the ground anymore. I don't know what the hell's going on. So, so that is my rant horror story. People need to realize that is wrong. Bitch as much as you can if somebody's screwing it up. And if anything, do it yourself. You'll know where it is. You'll know it's right. Basically, do it yourself. Thank you for watching. Do comment if you have any stories like that, and even video them up, and, attach them to this vid. People need to know this is not right. Just because you're dead doesn't mean you don't deserve respect. And do subscribe. I promise this is the only type of rant you'll get. Hopefully. And I shall see you all next time. Bye.